We promise you this is not an April Fool's joke, what you're about to hear. It is an actual lawsuit filed by an attorney in federal court about Diddy.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
The entertainment world is absolutely shaking right now. The latest bombshell allegations against Sean Diddy Combs have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. And trust me, the details are messier than anything you've seen in the movies. Picture this: a glamorous, star-studded party packed with A-list celebrities, diamonds glittering, champagne flowing. But beneath all the glitz, a dark, twisted nightmare that no one could have seen coming. We're talking about horrifying accusations that take a night of so-called celebration and turn it into something straight out of a psychological thriller. And guess who allegedly had a front row seat to the madness? None other than Beyonce and Jay-Z.
So exactly 10 years ago, they say this was a party for Diddy's son, King Combs, but all the names involved here are huge.
Huge.
Talking Beyonce, Jay-Z, LeBron James. Now, all of those people are just witnesses, according to this lawsuit.
Enter Joseph Manzaro, the man who just dropped a lawsuit that's making even the most seasoned gossip columnists' jaws hit the floor. According to Manzaro, he got caught up in something unimaginable during a supposedly elite gathering hosted by Diddy himself back in April 2015. Think of the guest list. Beyonce, Jay-Z, LeBron James, and even Gloria and Emilio Estefan's family were allegedly there. But what should have been another glamorous night for the rich and famous allegedly spiraled into a dark, terrifying experience that no one could have predicted or believed until now.
He says that he showed up at this party, or woke up at this party, and didn't understand how he got there, that he's insinuating clearly that he'd been drugged, but woke up and at one point saw Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan, and Gloria is saying, hey, we need to get him medical help because he's too drugged up.
Get an ambulance, get him out of here.
Manzaro paints a disturbing picture. He says he was heavily intoxicated and somehow ended up at the Estefan's Miami mansion. What came next sounds like something out of a spy novel, but darker. According to his lawsuit, Manzaro woke up feeling completely out of it, disoriented, and found himself being led through a secret tunnel that connected the Estefan property to Diddy's nearby residence. Yes, you heard that right, a hidden tunnel. But this wasn't some glamorous James Bond escapade. According to Manzaro, this was where his true nightmare began.
You know, that's a fact that anybody can find.
Sure.
But what happened once he got into this party at Diddy's house is outrageous. And I know we're supposed to take every lawsuit seriously because we don't know, we weren't there. The Gloria Estefan part, that's just a start. How Beyonce gets involved.
While Diddy publicly celebrated his son Christian's birthday that night, Manzaro claims a much darker scene unfolded behind closed doors. He describes being forced into a humiliating outfit, a leather mask with a very explicit prop attached, and paraded around like some cruel spectacle for the partygoers' entertainment. And it only gets worse. Manzaro alleges that he was subjected to non-consensual degrading acts, all while Diddy and his inner circle laughed and jeered. Diddy allegedly even said, he's going to find out what we do to snitches tonight, suggesting this wasn't just random cruelty, it was personal. And the most chilling part? According to the lawsuit, Beyonce and Jay-Z were sitting right there as the horrifying scene unfolded.
Yeah, look, this is one of the most shocking lawsuits I've read. If this had been the first Diddy lawsuit, our jaws would be on the floor, but there's a quality to it that sounds like almost a screenplay being written because he says he was lapsing sort of in and out of consciousness, and he's hearing voices of celebrities throughout this lawsuit. There's obviously the mask that he says he was wearing and being degraded and humiliated. There's also a bit of a Mad Libs quality of the...
Things get even more surreal when Manzaro describes Beyonce's alleged reaction. Apparently she turned to Jay-Z and asked, "What's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked man with a mask standing here in front of me?" Now, to be clear, the lawsuit doesn't accuse Beyonce or Jay-Z of participating in any of the disgusting acts. But their alleged presence alone? It's sending shockwaves through the industry. The world's biggest power couple tangled up, even indirectly, in a scandal of this magnitude? It's the kind of thing that could topple empires. And their silence? It's deafening.
There would presumably be people who could verify it or say it didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. You're right. When you mention all those people, they may all have alibis.
Well, Jay-Z certainly seems to have one.
Yeah.
So Jay-Z has mentioned that he's there with Beyonce, but we know that Jay-Z was in New York.
Yes.
The night that it was supposed to be. Now,
the night of King Combs of his birthday, which happens to be April 1st.
LeBron James's name gets thrown into the fire too. Manzaro claims he saw LeBron wandering the halls during the chaos. But LeBron's team was quick to clap back, pointing out that he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers all through April 2015. Receipts were pulled, timelines were double-checked. His reps called the allegations demonstrably false. The Estefans also wasted no time denying any involvement, stating that the mansion in question wasn't even their primary home, and they produced documents to back it up. Diddy's legal team, meanwhile, went full scorched earth, calling the lawsuit a desperate grab for headlines and pointing out massive inconsistencies in Manzaro's timeline. But despite all the denials, the dark cloud hovering over Diddy and now Beyonce and Jay-Z just keeps getting bigger.
These are all allegations, very wild allegations laid out in this lawsuit. As Derek said, there are elements of it that sound like some of the other lawsuits, but we have not heard a response back from Diddy.
Still, let's be real. When it comes to Diddy lately, where there's smoke, there's often fire. This lawsuit is just the latest in a series of ugly legal battles that have painted a disturbing portrait of the music mogul's life behind the scenes. And it's not just Diddy under the spotlight anymore. Emilio Estefan, Adria English, Eric Mize, and Brendan Paul have all been named as co-defendants. According to Manzaro, this wasn't the act of one monster, but a coordinated effort involving Diddy's entire inner circle. Adria English, Diddy's alleged personal assistant, was supposedly the one who led Manzaro through that secret tunnel. And Brendan Paul, his attorney says it's 100% false because he was still a high school student in Ohio at the time. The plot thickens, and so does the drama.
These are all allegations, very wild allegations laid out in this lawsuit. As Derek said, there are elements of it that sound like some of the other lawsuits, but we have not heard a response back from Diddy.
Of course, this isn't Diddy's first brush with scandal, but this time, the scale is absolutely explosive. The number of powerful figures allegedly involved, the disturbing details. It's a ticking time bomb. People are starting to ask some really uncomfortable questions, not just about Diddy, but about the entire celebrity culture that let this allegedly happen in the first place. How, they wonder, could some of the richest, most powerful stars on Earth stand by and let something so sickening unfold? Manzaro's lawsuit has already triggered a media feeding frenzy. Legal experts, gossip bloggers, celebrity insiders, everyone's dissecting every single allegation. And with Diddy already locked up on unrelated charges, the timing of this new lawsuit couldn't be more brutal. Is this just another blow while he's down? Or are we finally seeing the true extent of the chaos that's been hidden behind the glamorous facade? All eyes are now turning to Beyonce and Jay-Z. Will they speak up? Will they keep pretending nothing happened? Because staying silent is starting to look like guilt in the court of public opinion.
These are all allegations, very wild allegations laid out in this lawsuit. As Derek said, there are elements of it that sound like some of the other lawsuits, but we have not heard a response back from Diddy.
And if you thought it couldn't get juicier, buckle up. This lawsuit might be just the first domino. Already, rumors are swirling that this could lead to a full-blown reckoning, not just for Diddy, but for the supposedly untouchable Beyonce and Jay-Z too. And get this, the whispers about a potential divorce between Beyonce and Jay-Z, the same ones that have been haunting them for years, yeah, those are back in full force now. Is this lawsuit the final straw? Is the empire they've built on the verge of crumbling under the weight of dirty secrets and old scandals?
Cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes. That's where it took place, yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms.
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled.
Let's rewind a bit. Beyonce and Jay-Z have always been the golden couple, the royalty of the music world. Their brand is airtight. Talent, wealth, glamour, and an unbreakable bond that survived every scandal, at least on the surface. But cracks have been showing for a long time. Who could forget that elevator incident in 2014 with Solange? Or Beyoncé's devastating Lemonade album, an entire musical confession about Jay-Z's alleged infidelity? Sure, they patched things up publicly, but now, with their names tied to this horrific lawsuit, old wounds might be ripping open again, and the timing couldn't be worse. With massive tours, billion-dollar business ventures, and global adoration at stake, their alleged presence at Diddy's disturbing party could shatter everything they've so carefully built. Neither Beyoncé nor Jay-Z has issued a single word about it. And that silence, it's deafening and dangerous.
8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs. How many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8,
some insiders are now whispering that this might be the tipping point. Could this scandal force Beyoncé and Jay-Z to finally confront issues they've hidden for years? Could it even lead to a split? Their public image is on the line, and make no mistake, they know it. Will they do what they've always done and close ranks? Or will the sheer weight of this lawsuit tear them apart? Meanwhile, LeBron James is fighting his own PR battle. His camp immediately denied the claims, pointing to his packed NBA schedule back in April 2015. But still, the fact that his name even surfaced in this mess, it's enough to put a permanent stain on even the cleanest reputations. Because once your name gets dragged through the mud in a scandal like this, it's almost impossible to walk away spotless.
After they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be.
As for Diddy, things are spiraling fast. This isn't just another lawsuit, it's a full-on crisis. The allegations are so shocking, so wide-reaching, that even Diddy's massive empire might not survive the fallout. From Ciroc vodka to fashion brands to music empires, Diddy's name has been synonymous with success for decades. But these lawsuits threaten to tear it all down. And let's not forget the others tangled up in this web. The Estefans, for example, once untouchable icons of the music world, are now scrambling to defend their reputations, producing paperwork, receipts, anything to prove they weren't involved. But as every publicist knows, once the headlines hit, the damage is already done.
And I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Adria English, Diddy's alleged personal assistant, is now squarely in the crosshairs too. According to Manzaro, she was the one who led him through the hidden tunnel. She orchestrated the grotesque presentation that night. English hasn't made any public statement yet, but her silence is starting to speak louder than any denial ever could. And what about Eric Maas and Brendan Paul? They're both denying everything, with Brendan's lawyer literally laughing off the accusations as impossible, citing that Brendan was still in high school in another state. But again, once you're named in a scandal this radioactive, clearing your name is next to impossible. The internet never forgets.
We may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
But beyond the jaw-dropping allegations, this case is shining a harsh spotlight on something even bigger: the entire culture of power and privilege in the entertainment world. For too long, massive stars like Diddy have lived in a bubble where money, influence, and fame insulated them from real consequences. They threw wild parties, they operated in secrecy, and everyone just looked the other way. But now, with the world changed by movements like #MeToo, the old rules don't apply anymore. Even the most powerful aren't safe when the truth starts clawing its way to the surface. Could this be the beginning of Diddy's ultimate downfall? And if it is, who's next? Who else has been protected by silence, by NDAs, by fear? If Diddy falls, the aftershocks could rip through the entire music industry, shattering careers, demolishing reputations, and forcing a brutal reckoning with a culture that let predators thrive in the shadows. One thing's for sure, Diddy's legal war is far from over. And Beyoncé and Jay-Z, they're standing uncomfortably close to the blast zone. The real question haunting everyone now is simple, but chilling. What really happened that night in 2015? Were Beyoncé and Jay-Z truly innocent bystanders? Or do they have more explaining to do than they're ready to admit? Because silence, at this point, is almost as loud as an admission. And what about the other names being tossed around? Will they come forward? Will they tell the world what they saw or what they didn't see? Or will they keep hiding, letting rumors and unanswered questions define their legacies? The stakes couldn't possibly be higher. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about everyone who was there, everyone who saw, everyone who said nothing. And the longer this legal nightmare drags on, the more names will get sucked into the vortex. More secrets will come spilling out. And the public, hungry for the next jaw-dropping headline, will keep digging. There's no running from it now, not even for Beyonce and Jay-Z, not even for LeBron, not even for Diddy himself. As this storm grows more intense by the day, one thing is crystal clear. The world is watching. Every headline, every court filing, every leaked rumor, it's all adding up, piece by messy, scandalous piece. And somewhere in the middle of this swirling chaos, you have to wonder, who's going to crack first? And when they do, what dark, dirty secrets are they going to reveal? Stay tuned, because trust me, this story is only just beginning. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explosive celebrity drama. See you next time. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.